Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm sorry I'm getting this out to you all a little bit late. But today in our numerology quick takes, we're going to take a look at the week of April 21st. And this week we're going to be working with the vibration of the 17-8. And this is interesting because what I'm really drawn to this week with this cycle and these energies are the 1 and the 7 and the 17. Because the 1 indicates self, some kind of action taken from self, some kind of, greater awareness of self and our place in the world, how we interact, how we engage, etc. Right? It's looking at the individual self and our role in the world. Then we have the energy of the 7 in that 17. And the 7 is about greater self-discovery. It's the individual becoming the bridge between the unseen and the seen in order to take an inspiration or an idea and to turn it into something tangible, right? So we're using our intuition, our psychic downloads, our, again, inspirations and ideas. And we're coming up with ways to bring those to life. And it's also interesting too, right? Because the energy of the 8 signifies the material world. And usually it indicates some kind of business-minded leader, an expert in something, someone who is taking their ideas or taking a vision and bringing it to life in some way. And usually that's on somewhat of a larger stage because it's meant to have a greater impact, and it can usually indicate some kind of power or influence or status. Oftentimes it's also associated with money. So there's definitely this indication this week that we could discover new things about ourselves that maybe we didn't realize before, or maybe we did realize, but we're wanting to dive a little bit deeper to explore and to figure out how we can, how that side of ourselves or how our gifts or how our ideas, how we can translate that into something real and turning it into something, I don't want to say useful, right? But useful, where it's not only helping us, but it's helping others as well. So you could notice a deep desire this week to go back to school or to take a workshop or to read up on things that pique your interest, to dive deeper into yourself, come back to yourself and then go deeper. And it's not just for the sake of that exploration, although that certainly serves a purpose within its own right. There's more to it because of the 8, right? There is a physical component to this. There's something that wants to be brought to life through you, through your gifts, through your ideas, through your inspirations, because you are the bridge. There is a truth that wants to be discovered within you. And then what will you do with that truth once it's discovered? So there's definitely sort of a call to action this week with this energy for each individual. Because remember, the 1 energy, it's us, the individual, going deeper and really taking time with self to better understand ourselves and our gifts and our desires, our hopes and dreams and visions and goals. And then to determine how to take that deeper understanding and make it a reality. And it's not about, even though we're working with 8 energy, and a lot of times this can indicate some kind of like level of productivity, like it can indicate like it doesn't have to be about money like that you receive. It could be about philanthropy where you're investing money into, uplifting, empowering, inspiring others. It could be about, charitable donations or whatever, right? So it's not necessarily just about your productivity or what you create and what you make use of when it comes to your gifts, etc., or your dreams and goals. It doesn't always have to be about your gifts, but it can be about having a deeper understanding about your dreams and goals, and then starting to take the steps that will move you in that direction. And again, it's not just about like the end result. It's certainly about the process to get you there. And if it's successful, whatever that means to you, then great. But there's a really strong emphasis here, not on necessarily, again, the destination, but on going deeper within self, really asking yourself the deeper questions about what do I want? What do I want to create? What do I want to pursue? How do I want to participate? What does that look like? How do I want to express myself? How do I want to like really embrace who I am as an individual and what I contribute into the world with that individuality? And that's a process, right? So again, because of this strong 7 energy, it's that deep dive into self, that deeper exploration. And then once we've done that, the 8 says, okay, let's create something with this. Let's take that and decide what our next goal is based on that self-discovery and do something with it, right? Whether that doing something just means starting to take action in that direction of your goals, or starting to make better decisions that will help you to move in the direction of your goals or your vision or whatever that may be. And what does that look like, right? So this is such an awesome week for really exploring, like, again, what do you want and what steps do you need to take to get you there? And again, it's not so much about the end destination. However, with this sort of equation, it's suffice to say that the destination will be really fulfilling for you, for us. Because again, with the 1, we're looking at self. With the 7, it's that getting to that truth of self, that greater self-discovery to get to the truth of self. And the 8 is the manifestation of that, right? Like really recognizing, again, our gifts, what it is that we want, what we want to experience, how we want to express ourselves. And again, the 8 is the manifestation of that, which we are at the helm of that ship. We are the manifestors within our own lives in this situation. So really powerful energy with this. And again, if we're doing the work, going within, really truly exploring ourselves, coming back to ourselves, exploring ourselves, and then we're pursuing something from that space, how could we not be fulfilled with the outcome, right? So this is definitely a week that I would say this is a time for, or a cycle for, greater revelations. And remember, this can obviously happen because it's a universal cycle. It can obviously happen and play out on the global stage. And it's interesting because the word that kind of kept coming in for this week is revelations. And it didn't really click to me, and not to get like religious, but it didn't really click to me. There's a revelations in the Bible. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really understand. I don't know if I should admit this out loud, but I didn't really understand like why it was called Revelations. But it's funny because as I'm talking about this week, I can clearly see why it's called Revelations. But if you think about what revelations are, it's usually a very surprising and previously unknown fact, often made in a dramatic way. And so the emphasis this week is very much on the individual, likely having some kind of greater revelation about oneself and the direction that we're moving in individually, our contribution in the world, how our actions affect the whole, how our actions affect our experience, etc. But we can have a lot of revelations, very surprising and previously unknown facts or truths about ourselves and the direction we're moving in and what that looks like and what changes we might want to make, or whether we want to continue to build on what we've already built. But there could be some sort of extreme aha moments this week that bring in those revelations, right? So it's interesting because if we think about revelations like in the Bible, it's moving through some kind of drama or extreme or catalyst that helps us to see more clearly a previously unknown truth or fact, and sometimes surprising. So it's very, very interesting. And so what I would say here is this is a time this week where all of the answers are available if we're looking in the right place and if we're asking the right questions. That's one thing that I think we kind of have gotten away from collectively, like as a society, is asking the questions and being open to hearing the answer, even if it looks different than the preconceived notion or what we've told ourselves it should be or could be. So this week, I would encourage each person to take time out as much as possible to be with you, to be with yourself, to not only like decompress and self-soothe, but to really, really get to know you. Like ask yourself a question about you. Then seek the answer with an open mind and curiosity. Explore you. Like a lot of times we get so caught up in the external where we're really looking at, what everybody else is doing or what everybody else is saying we should be doing or what it should look like or, who are we trying to mimic or who are we trying to compete against or who are we trying to emulate? There's all these we're always looking to the external and rarely are we looking internally. And this week is an opportunity to do just that. And the amount of wealth of information that we could gain, and not only that, but the truths that we could discover about ourselves that very well could bring in some great revelations and a change in direction, like a course correct even. Because again, if we're so focused on the external and those expectations, we're going to try to reach those goals. And we're going to bypass the goals that we maybe should be focused on, which have more to do with, again, a deeper understanding of self, a deeper understanding of our own gifts and our desires and our goals and our inspirations and etc. So much of life is spent outside of ourselves and then trying to replicate that, replicate what we see on the external. But we're kind of missing the majority of the point by doing that. Because here's the thing, right? Energetically, we are all connected. We're all the same energetically, right? We all come from the same stardust. We all come from the same, if you look at the what humans are made up of, it's the same things that the galaxies are made up of, the stars are made up of, the universe is made up of. Energetically, we are all the same. There's no difference. But in this physical experience, we are very different. There is no one that is like you, period. There's no one who is like you incarnate on this planet. And that's magical, man. That's so incredibly magical. We miss that. We try to bypass that. It's something to be ashamed of, or that, because we're different, that there's something wrong with us. But really that is, not to sound trite, but that is the magic, right? Because again, energetically, we're all the same. There's no distinction. But physically, we are very, very different. And the 17-8, when it comes in a cycle, we really do have an opportunity to, if we choose to really learn so much about ourselves and then find ways to truly embrace that and then find ways to express that. And it's through that expression that not only do we feel whole and fulfilled by that expression, but other people benefit from that as well. I don't know. It's really beautiful. Like energetically, there's unity, right? And that unity doesn't disperse. Like there is no separation energetically. We are energetically connected. That energetic connection never will go away. But physically, obviously, there's a lot of separation and division in the world. And I wonder sometimes if there would be less of that division and separation if we could get to a place where we could truly celebrate our differences, like truly celebrate that. Because like, how fascinating that you have something that literally nobody else in the world has through your gifts and through how you express those gifts. And maybe you don't know what that looks like yet, and that's okay, right? It's part of the evolution. It's part of our own journey to figure that out. But it's only through like that greater self-discovery and those greater revelations, through asking ourselves the questions, spending time with ourselves, coming back to ourselves, and really diving deeper within our own psyche and our own desires and, figuring out what we're good at. Not even figuring it out, but discovering what we're good at and what we enjoy. And then finding ways to express that. Like that's the magic. And I think that if as a whole, society as a whole, we could really embrace that, it's like, yeah, I don't know. So much more magic to discover on this planet. But instead, like we kind of focus on like, okay, how can we make everybody the same? We're missing it. We're missing the point. Anywho, so this week, if you feel like you need permission, I'm giving you permission. Take extra time to be with you. Get to know yourself. Like you might not even know what you like or what you enjoy. And really sometimes the only way we can figure that out is by being curious and by exploring and trying new things and having an open mind and stepping outside of our comfort zone. You don't have to step so far out that you scare yourself and then you're never going to go outside your comfort zone again, right? Baby steps are fine. But there's so much beauty in that. So, if you've always wanted to learn to play the flute, this is a perfect week to do that, right? There's so many, and this is the beautiful thing too, right? We've come so far technologically where if you want to like learn to play the flute, there's so many videos online that can help to teach you that, right? You can do it for free for the most part, aside from the cost of the flute. But there's just so many opportunities to learn more about ourselves. And yeah, this is such a great week to do it. So if there's something that you've wanted to try or something you've wanted to do that you keep, either you have fear around it or you just, whatever the reason is that you've talked yourself out of it, this is the week to talk yourself back into it and to try it and to really take some time and ask yourself the questions. Like if you're feeling frustrated with life or if you're feeling like you've hit a dead end or you're just listless or whatever the case may be, you're feeling uninspired. It's not about continuously looking externally for the answer. Really, truly, it's about coming back to self and asking yourself the questions and then seeing where that takes you. And then once you figure that out, once you tap into that greater truth of yourself, now how are you going to express that? Like, how are you going to share that magic with others? I don't know. And that's something that's going to continue to evolve, right? Like we continue to evolve. So as we continue to evolve, our interests change, our perspectives change, our desires change, our goals change, our visions change. You know what I mean? So it's a constant like evolution and a constant evolution or opportunity for growth. So again, these 17 8 cycles bring in the concentrated opportunity to dive deeper within yourself. And I can almost guarantee you'll gain some kind of revelation from it. So yeah, really beautiful week this week. You've got to give yourself the permission, because remember, at the core of, not at the core, but in the equation is the one energy. It's you. It's you, baby. So, if you don't put in the effort, if you don't take the time, if you don't give yourself permission, and if you don't sort of prioritize your time this week to spend that time with getting reacquainted with yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody can do it for you. And so, you might not see those revelations come in. But I think this week could be really eye-opening in a lot of ways, individually. But again, also on the grander stage. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some revelations this week come in on the global stage. Like, again, truths come out that have been previously hidden, or truths coming out where maybe there was substantial misinformation previously. Things that can be really eye-opening. But here's the thing also, those facts can be presented, but if we don't sort of welcome them to and be curious about them and explore them with an open mind, then they may not penetrate. They might not get in. They might not seep in. We might not get it. It might go over our heads. So, yeah. This week, ask the questions. Ask the questions. Be curious, explore, and ask the questions. But then when you ask those questions, be open to what the answer is. Be open. And it doesn't mean that you fully have to understand it right away, but be open. Don't be too quick to dismiss what comes in for you. There's one thing for people who are dreamers. I mean, like literally, like who have very vivid dreams. And I know many people who are they just dream every night, or is a very vivid dream. And not all of them are profound or prophetic, but they're dreamers, right? They literally have those dreams. And I think we all do, but some people are very more susceptible, not susceptible. They're more open to it, I guess. And they remember those dreams, and they're very, they're a big part of their lives. Anyway, my point is, some people can ask questions to the universe, to their higher self, before going to bed, and they'll literally dream about what the answer is. And, you can even try that yourself, even if you're not a dreamer. You might be surprised at what comes in, but the point is, be open to what comes in. Write it down. You don't have to understand it right now, but write it down and come back to it, because it might make a lot of sense in the future. Yeah, I don't know. I love this energy. I love it. On top of that, the 17-8 is just known to be a very good, fortunate, rewarding, just really beautiful, assistance-giving kind of energy. So this could definitely be a week where you see money come in, gifts, advancements, promotions, business and public affairs could turn out really, really well. Great time to launch something, if that speaks to you. Great time to put yourself out there, right? Like if you're somebody who maybe you've just graduated, maybe you've taken a course and you're feeling really like you've got the information now, you're ready to get started. This is a time where you are the expert, so share that expertise, right? Especially if you're qualified to do that, whatever that means for you. But this is a great time to initiate. This is a great time to make it happen, to put yourself out there, to, if you've been talking about you're an amazing, I don't know, if you're telling everybody that you're an amazing artist, but you don't showcase your work, what are you doing, right? So this is the week to showcase the work. Proof is in the pudding, so to speak, right? But it's not about the external validation or any of those things. It's about you and expressing yourself and sharing that expertise in a way that feels good for you. And you're supported this week to do that. You are literally the star under this energy. So shine, baby, shine. The other thing I would say is be open to receiving assistance and help this week. Don't feel like you have to do it all on your own. I mean, I know there's a big emphasis on self this week, but it's more about the discovery of self. But when it comes to expressing yourself or reaching your goals, etc. Don't feel like you have to do it all on your own. This is a beautiful week to ask for assistance. You will likely see that it comes through for you in some way. So, yeah, really love this. Just be careful about self-doubt this week. And I would say move through that as quickly as you can. Don't let that hold you back. Don't let that steer you away from what it is that you want to do. Like, this is an energy that pushes us to dream big and think big and remember that we are capable of anything. It might mean that we have to seek assistance to make it happen, but we can make it happen. And the 8 reminds us of that. And the 8 gives us the motivation and the ambition to push towards that. So don't let that self-doubt creep in this week. You've got to find a way to overcome that. And yeah, I would say just dive deeper this week. Any opportunity you have, dive deeper. Because I don't know if there's anything more fulfilling. I mean, there can be, but when it comes to feeling in purpose and feeling like we're on the right path, I don't think there's anything more fulfilling than coming back to yourself and knowing yourself, like truly recognizing, again, what it is that you want, how you want to engage, how you want to participate, how you want to express yourself, all these things. And I think a lot of times we move through the world blindly, like we don't really truly know what we want. We haven't given ourselves permission to explore that side of ourselves, which is the side of ourselves. We're too busy, again, looking to the external to show us, and that's not it. So beautiful energy. I hope it's a great week for you all. I hope that there are a lot of revelations, and I hope you do something really magical with those revelations. It's all about taking the action. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.